Mighty Max.
Hey.
Thank you for joining me in the SAINTCON hallway.
Thank you for having me.
You got the handle Mighty Max from me downstairs yesterday because I was trying to remember your name and I was terrible at it. And there was a TV show, right? It was Mighty Max.
Yeah.
And he had an M on his hat and he could open up portals. And that's super niche,
Like
but
a big owl or
yes,
something
there
that
was
was
an owl.
guiding him.
It was like trying to teach him stuff. And he was like,
Yeah.
shut up, Al. I will travel wherever I want and fight skeletons. And there was like some He-Man guy followed him around. Anyway.
I don't remember what the overarching premise of that was.
Probably save the world. That's
Yeah,
probably
probably.
how it goes.
That's
But I definitely had that pop up and I would watch it as a kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, your actual name's an actual handle.
I go Max Power.
Max Power, even cooler. Simpsons, yes?
Yep. It's the only one I could spell right.
Was that was like the James Bond episode?
Yes.
I just remember like the laser. Anyway.
From the Goldfinger scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he was like, air conditioner? What was it? Air gun?
Hairdryer.
Hair dryer. Air gun, yeah. Air gun.
I got it off a hairdryer.
It's like Max Powers.
Give you the only one you spelled right.
So, Max Powers, 00 agent. How many years have you been coming to SAINTCON?
This is my first year.
That's what I thought. That's why I really wanted to talk to you. So, first year, we're on the last day. What's your impressions?
How was it the last day already?
I know. Well, part of me's like, thank goodness it's the last day because the sleep deprivation. But the other part's like, holy crap, we're tearing out today. Like, I feel like we just set up.
That means we all had a good con, right?
Yeah. Well, did you have a good con?
I had a great con. I played the vault.
Did you?
That
What'd you
was
break
actually
into?
what brought me here.
Oh, the vault brought you
a
here.
number of years ago, I saw it on social media, and I was like, hey, like, I don't get to do any of this stuff. That looks so cool. That's like a whole setup, and that's so much fun. And I wasn't even sure it was still running. And so I was very happy when I got here and saw it was running. But
yeah, it's I think it's changed versions over the year. This one's more of a breaking in, but some years it's breaking out. Yeah, it's obviously
breakout.
volunteers led, and they can decide what they're doing with it. But did you find any of them challenging, or you just wreck them all?
Oh, it was very tough.
Good. Well, if it's tough for you, that means it's extremely hard. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I showed up and I'm like, oh, I might be able to do this on my own. And they're like, you might want a team. I'm like, oh, I'll give it a try. And like, got stuck in the first round.
Did you go grab Iceman and Woody and go wreck it?
I did not. They seemed like they were kind of preoccupied,
That's
and
fair.
like I appreciate and understand that running mini villages. But I ran into Jimmy Long's friend of mine, and he introduced me to some more people,
I love Jimmy Longs.
and
Lonnie.
Diddy Mouse, and I met Brad, and we made a team, and we started like working through a couple trials, and then coming up with plans, and like this is what we're gonna work on, and somebody went out and bought a lockbox to try and work on that, and then we started thinking about strategy, like, okay, like, does time count? How much time is left over? Does that count at the end?
Right.
So we worked on that. We had a couple trials, and then in between that, I ran from the first floor to the third floor to go play the RFID NFC challenge, which was the other big thing I wanted to do. And so
Which is put on by Iceman this year.
Iceman.
It's first time. I love Iceman. He's my favorite.
It was fabulous. He made me work for everything. I didn't just walk in and like get through all of it.
Social engineering.
Learn some new stuff too.
Good.
So
Did you use his flipper firmware?
I did not.
He
I
doesn't.
tried.
He doesn't have any. It's just to be funny to him. When you see him next, be like, "Hey, Pope told me you had some flipper firmware," and he'll flip a bit.
Pope said.
Yeah, because it's hilarious. What things do you do for the community? Sounds like you told me you run in other villages.
Yeah, so I have run and helped organize the Lockpick Village at DEF CON for a couple of years now.
What's DEF CON? I've never heard of it.
It's this giant conference in Las Vegas where we all go gamble.
I've used that joke too many times. I'm sorry. People who've watched multiple videos, I'll try to chill out on that one.
But ShmooCon 2, I did some Circle City Con. I had the fortunate opportunity to go over for DEF CON China. That was a blast.
That's awesome.
So yeah, a lot of lockpick villages.
So you're used to people just completely annihilating your logs.
Yeah.
Over at DEF CON, I always see them, and I'm like, oh,
What?
man, these locks have seen better days, and those picks have seen better days.
We always have the one or two sad picks. I have actually a corkscrew, which was originally a pick that I've not used as a corkscrew, but it looks like it. And it stays in its own special case, and it's with all my village gear, so I can show people, like, this is what happens. And somebody had just twisted it, and I was like, hey, you want to, like, can I stop? I'll give you a fresh pick. I'll show you what to do. Like, they're like, no, I almost got it. I'm like, okay. But, like, that's the last one.
Right.
But that happens. The picks are going to die over time. And, like, if you have to learn by a village pick dying, that is not bad at all. Like, we've taught you something. You've had a chance to experience it. And that's great.
Right. Not to deviate you too much, but I got a pretty sad lockpicking story I want to share with you.
Oh, no.
It was on a physical pen test.
Yeah.
And it was a bus depot. And I got through the gate very fast. Stupid padlock. We're in the gate. Now I want in the bus center because I want to drive a bus.
Yeah.
I'd asked my boss if I could drive a bus, and he said yes.
Do it.
So I wanted to drive the bus. So there's a building. There's only a single door to get into that building. And inside that building is keys to all the buses, right?
Oh. You could drive multiple buses.
I don't know how to pull that off. Anyway, so I was trying to sit there and pick a lock. And so when you're practicing, right, it's different than the real world. The real world, you're like straddling a flat door, right? So you either can come at it from the side or based on the height. I'm always like half like this and trying to get into it. Anyway, I'm picking it, and I cheat. I rake, then pick. Apologies.
It's not cheating, man.
So get the easy ones, then go after the last ones. And it's already in a weird position, and the handle, the tension wrench is probably better terms than what I'm using here. It's right next to the handle.
Yeah.
Right? So the handle, the door. So I get the last one, and it starts to turn, and I'm like ecstatic, right?
Yeah.
But it's like hitting the
stuck.
handle.
No.
So I'm like, screw this. Like, I will bend my favorite wrench to not have to do this again, right? So I bend it up, turn it, and in that straddle turn door, I neglected to notice that there was no resistance. So I turn it, excitement, right?
Yeah.
Payoff, all the pins fall. Because I should have been turning it the other way.
Oh, no.
The way it was mounted, configured,
Yeah.
it was just loose.
Yeah.
And so all the pins fell, and we had to call the superintendent, and they had to come get a locksmith and drill it out. We had to have some shame, and that guy was yelling at me. And anyway, pay attention if you have tension.
Yeah. That's why we always tell people not to practice on locks that you rely on, or the locks that are installed. Like, if you're pen testing and you've got like a statement of work, totally different thing. But, like, we have had practice locks that have just been abused, and eventually, like, the metal that holds the pins in just is worn down so much that the pins fall out. Or there's a very specific type of lockout tagout lock that's plastic that's meant to be hard to pick but not hard to break, because it's a safety feature that you know it's there. But if everybody just lost the key and can agree on that, they don't want it to be hard to cut. And if you rotate those in the opposite direction in which the key goes, the pins will just fall out into the lock body. Yeah. And then there goes your practice lock.
Or real lock. How long you been doing DEF CON lockpicking?
I want to say like 2014, 2015, I started as a volunteer. I think I know around 2013, I wandered into this 2-day course that they were trying out at SANS from a company called Core Group that a guy named Devian Olaf was teaching.
Yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah.
He was one of our keynotes a few years ago.
I know.
Oh, yeah. No, he's great.
I've been watching from afar, Pope.
Have you seen any of these hallway interviews before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Just curious.
They were, except for, in the background upstairs while I was doing the RFID channel.
Oh, fair.
On the big screen.
You're going to be on the big screen next.
What?
Maybe with audio
I
this
didn't
time.
do my makeup this morning.
Oh, shoot. Where's our makeup? Oh, yeah. We don't have budget for that. Sorry. Volunteer service. Right now, I got the sun in my eyes. I got sunglasses on because beautiful Provo.
It is. It was amazing driving out here.
You drove out here?
No. Sorry, in the Uber.
I was like, bro.
From the
You're
airport
from Boston,
to here.
right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I
That's some commitment.
I don't even want to drive to DC anymore. I've done that a couple times. And
what's your favorite memory? If you could pick one memory from DEF CON lockpicking or other conferences you've done.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that one. You just thought about that. You're like, I can't share that one. That's the one. That's the one we want to hear.
It's not the one that's going on recorded.
That's the one we want.
I know. Yeah. I mean, there's a conference called LockCon that if you're in the lockpicking community, you can go to, and it's in the Netherlands, and it's just you just go hang out in this like not in Amsterdam. You hang out in this space. There's some talks. There's like an open area to hang out in the evenings, and you just talk about lockpicking. If you want to do lockpicking, you do lockpicking. You don't do that. Hang around, you drink. Not in excess, but just sit around and chat with like-minded people, and that's
good times.
Just great. I haven't been there in a couple of years.
I love seeing it. Was it ShmooCon the first time I saw it? The automated safe cracking thing. Just I don't even care that it gets in. I just love watching that thing go be like. Zhip, 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 zhip. Was that yours? Somebody else's you got to bring?
I don't know. I know I had a friend, Aiden, that was working on one, but I don't remember if he brought it. I don't remember that at Shmoo. So what year was that?
3 or 4 years ago, right after COVID.
Oh.
Anyway,
was it built in Connects? Like with, you remember Connects, like the kids' toy?
It was not Connects.
Oh, okay.
No, it looked way more professional. Had a little box next to it. Anyway,
then I didn't see that.
Those things are fascinating.
Those
I got a video
cool.
of it. I took a video of it. I'll pull it up after this.
Okay.
What do you want to do next? You want to run more communities? Less communities?
I'm about good where I am. I'm trying to get some conferences in where I'm an attendee. This was great. I had a blast. I kind of like came and I knew I would see like one person or like two people, and I ran into like 10 people that I knew and was like, oh my God, I forgot you were over on this side of the country. And like, it's great to see you and sit down and talk, because a lot of us just are running different things or have good responsibilities or whatever at DEF CON, and like we see each other in the hall, we say hi, hugs, and then on to whatever it is that we got to do for that week.
Right. You're busy.
Yeah. So I had so much fun this week playing both the challenges. There's so much stuff that I wanted to do that I didn't get to. Like there's satellite hacking, village, tamper evident. Even though like I sit right next to tamper evident at DEF CON, I never go over and do the stuff.
You're busy. Yeah. It's hard to do that while you're also explaining how to pick a lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just making sure my volunteers get fed and like
or there
checking to see who's on shift and like all that stuff. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work and I love it. And I'm not like giving it up for anything. But it's definitely a different experience than coming and just being like, what am I going to do today?
Right.
I'm going to go play a game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go learn some new stuff.
Right. Outside of tech, computer, cybers, what's an interest of yours that somebody can come chat with you about and build some kinship?
So in lockpicking, I move very, very small pieces of metal, very, very small distances with very, very little force. My other hobby is powerlifting, where I move much larger pieces of metal, larger distances, relatively speaking, with a lot of force.
Awesome. Do you weightlift yourself?
Yeah. So I've competed in powerlifting on and off.
You compete in it?
Yeah.
What's your highest ranking?
So let's see. A little fuzzy on the numbers. Let's say
you can just make them up. I wouldn't know.
450 on the squat with what's called single ply equipped. And
pretend like I know what that means.
That's a special kind of you get these suits that are made out of a special kind of material that doesn't want to deform.
Okay.
And so you load it up with weight and you push down on that. And so as you come back up, which is usually the hard part, the suit is helping you.
Weird.
But you have way more weight than you can handle without the suit.
Right.
And the suit only works in this very limited range of motion. So if you come out of that range of motion,
You're done.
you're done.
That's cool.
So you have to like be focused. You have to control. You have to make sure that you stay
in that.
in that position, so that you don't lose it. And we have spotters and safeties and everything else. Yeah. So like the squats about 450. I've hit 5 something in the gym, but never on the platform with judges and everything.
Right.
But I train for that, and then I help run powerlifting competitions on
Because of
many
course
weekends.
you do. You're like, what else can I do?
What else? How else can I help? I like
what
to
do you?
help friends build things.
And you were saying you do a bunch of streaming for that. Is that something you want to drop and mention, or no?
No,
enough.
but thank you for asking. So we do live streaming at the local meets, and it's been, when COVID hit, I reached out to Danny because he was doing all those streaming, and I said, hey man, can you show me how to do this? Because I have a feeling like for the Lockpick Villages I've committed to, we're gonna need to do some streaming with fancy graphics and bringing in presenters. And he sat down with Lady Merlin and I and just went through everything about how to configure and set up OBS.
Love it.
And as we were coming out of that, I had friends that were trying to run powerlifting meets for the first time, and they were like, we'll do Zoom. And I'm like, no, we can do better.
Right.
I can do this for you. Let me do this. And it took 1 or 2 times, and they're like, okay. And so we started streaming on YouTube with a little overlay that showed you who was lifting and what. And now I'm like recoloring all the text to match the logo font and getting logos in there and a little thing from the webpage showing who's up next. And we've got multiple cameras, and hopefully we'll do instant replays. And it's like,
you got to teach me the instant replay part. I know all the rest of that, but I've never done instant replays. I don't know that I need like, Dave Kenny's on stage and I'm like, replay.
Everybody stops to watch
the joke, drive the joke back home.
Dave just turns around.
Yeah. But that makes sense for sports, right? Like, it makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
Well, especially if you get a different camera angle.
Oh,
so
right. Fair.
You watch the front on, and then you go, oh, wait, what happened there? Was that like an up and down or something, which is in the rules? You can't have an up and down in certain motions. You go, okay, well, let's hit the replay for the side view.
Right. Oh, it did touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's try to think. What other things in the community? Lifting, you mentioned lock picking. Is there anything else that you want to share?
I think there was something, like, I'm doing a lot of work with myself lately and trying to like work through a lot of stuff. And so I told you when I showed up, I saw the vault and I was like, oh, I'll try it. I looked at the vault and I was like, I don't know, man. What if I go in and I just fail?
Right.
Like, what does that look like?
Right. I run the lockpick at DEF CON, and what if I fail?
Yeah, you fail in the beginning. Like, and I was like, you know what? Like, just go in. Like, you're here to have fun. Go and have some fun. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
And like, I had to think about it like twice. And then I went in and I just did it. And I got in and I got into the front door, and then I failed. But then I turned around and I said, hey, let's grab some friends.
Right.
And it went from 2 people to 2 people to 3 people to 4 people. And the next thing we knew, we were in the finals.
Right.
So I think it's hard sometimes to be like, to go out there and just like not know you're going to succeed. And be like, what if I fail? Especially if you're sometimes around a lot of people. And I would just say to people, like, I think less people are paying attention and remembering that than you might feel.
Yeah. I mean, we all fail at stuff until we get good at it.
Yeah.
So
You gotta try, right? You gotta keep practicing and trying. And like, a lot of my projects, I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I can do that. But like, what's the cost of failure if you print something and it doesn't work out? Like,
right.
$2.
Right.
Or like you solder a board wrong. Like, there are some like monetary costs, and if there are people, and I understand that, that's still a good amount of money for. But if that's not the situation, then like, just go ahead and try.
Yeah, I love it.
The magic smoke comes out.
Right.
You gotta go get another part.
Right. Had plenty of those.
Yeah,
Lost a lot of fingerprints.
I've done that. When I was a kid, we threw away a clock, and my brother and I had this bright idea. Let's see if we can open it up and fix it. Now, we had no real electronics knowledge, but we liked opening stuff up. So we took the clock apart, and we saw 2 wire nuts. And we unscrewed each wire nut and swapped one pair.
No.
And we plugged it back in.
120?
And the circuit pop.
It worked.
It went out.
You were just doing some breaker testing.
Yeah. And I remember our mother hollered up, and she's like, "What did you do?" And we're like, "Don't worry, we'll go reset the breaker." Because by then,
We
knew how to go reset the breakers.
That's hilarious. Well, we appreciate you coming all the way out here to Utah, coming to SAINTCON. I appreciate all you do for the community, and look forward to seeing you. Hopefully here at more SAINTCONs, but definitely around. And if you see Max, come up and say hi, and tell him that you're working on weightlifting, or that you can do more than him, and have a conversation about that.
Come show me up.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for joining me in the SAINTCON hallway.
Thanks, man. Thanks for taking the time to talk.
Thanks.